How's everybody doing? My name is Steven Rosenberg. This is Ginzburg, and welcome to Marketing Success in Under 10 Minutes. We have a really great show for you guys today because we're going to be talking about mindset and what it takes to be in the right mindset and things to not do to be in the wrong mindset. Jean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I'm super excited, as always. I love doing this show with you, Steven, and talking about technology and entrepreneurship and marketing. So, Today we're going to talk about entrepreneur. I guess this is an entrepreneurial type of, I would put in the category of entrepreneurship, is mindset.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing now, and I've been doing this for a while now, and so have you, Steven, is that a lot of times, we feel like we have to have the skill set in order to be an entrepreneur, and of course, that's also it's very important. I don't want to discount
extremely
skill set, whatever is your craft, whatever it is you're doing. Of course, it's important to be an expert at it. But also the things that I'm noticing with entrepreneurs, and maybe even up and coming entrepreneurs, maybe they're just getting started, is that it's also a mindset thing that. Being an entrepreneur, you don't have a boss, you don't have a manager, you have to do things, you have to do everything yourself, you have to run your own business and get clients and do your own taxes and hire people and train people, and the list goes on. And there's not really anybody to tell you what to do. You have to put the pieces together. But having the right mindset in order to be an entrepreneur is extremely important, because if our mind is elsewhere, if we're not focused on our entrepreneurial journey, then it's just not going to go anywhere, because the way it works, anything that you focus on will grow. And so if you're focusing on your business, then it will grow. So any initial thoughts, Steven, about mindset?
I think mindset is one of the most important things as you go through an entrepreneurial journey. It's something that can either make or break your business a lot of times, especially as a startup, because again, like you said, nobody else is going to do any of these things for you. And while I don't think that you need to be an expert in everything that you do have to be in the right mental capacity, because if you're not, there's just too many forces that are fighting against you and really going to set you up to fail, or there's going to be a lot of struggles. 99.99% of the time, it is not easy to take a business from idea conception all the way to very successful, flourishing business. It's just so many things are going to pile on top of you, a lot of which you will not know what to do. And it's really about not getting discouraged, not listening to the other negative factors that are out there. I remember when I started Green Purpose so long ago, there's just so many different people that were fighting against it, and it was, just this constant battle. So I feel really good that I was in the right mindset for long enough to really resist a lot of that negativity and just keep pressing forward. Even though I didn't have all the answers, I fought every day to make sure to try to get those answers.
Yeah, that's a good example. So there's, I think, a few points that we want to talk about. One of them, of course, is having the right mindset. But what does that really entail? So having the right people around you and not succumbing to the negativity, because that will happen. Getting over the fear is another one, and then also having a morning routine. So I'd say those are kind of the three main components of what it really means to have the right mindset. So I can talk about a little bit about the fear and about having a morning routine, which I think is really helpful. So in terms of the fear, there is a lot of that in the entrepreneurial journey, and I think part of it is that if you do feel that, then it's like you're on the right track, because if you're comfortable, if you're doing well, if you're not fearful of anything when it comes to your business, then it's then the entrepreneurial journey might not be as flourishing as you might want it to be. So actually having that slight feeling of fear when it comes to being an entrepreneur is somewhat of a positive thing, because that things are working, you're moving in the right direction. Definitely lean more into it. But how to overcome it is one point I would say is thinking about it, dissecting it into smaller pieces, because if we think about the big thing that we're afraid of, let's say we have to learn how to do videos, or we have to close this client. Thinking about the baby steps and dissecting it into small pieces, I think, and taking it one step at a time, I think is super helpful. So instead of thinking, oh, I have to start doing videos for social media, thinking, okay, what are the things I can talk about? What are the topics I can talk about? Do I have a camera? Can I use my iPhone for this? What's my setup? And then just taking one step at a time, doing one video. Okay, maybe I don't like it. Well, then move on and do a second video, and a third video, and a fifth video, and absolutely normal to do a bunch of videos before you're like, oh, well, I kind of like this one. So
that's actually a really good point, and it kind of reminds me of, along with the topic, is don't be so obsessed with being a perfectionist that it prevents you from getting your information out there. So if you're constantly just saying something has to be perfect, and you're going to continue to prolong yourself from just putting whatever it is out into the world. And that, I think, being in that right mindset of saying, okay, I know this is not perfect, but I'm still going to put it out there and get feedback. I think that is one of the most helpful things that you can ever do as an entrepreneur, instead of just trying to protect everything or do everything yourself, or waiting till it's perfect, or waiting for this, or just coming up with more excuses not to do it. I mean, especially everybody has a cell phone, so you should have no excuse why you can't make a video or why you can't do this. You may not have a perfect camera, you may not have all these bells and whistles that you ultimately want. But again, you're never going to get that if you don't put yourself in the right mindset and at least start putting the material out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. Is the perfection dilemma that entrepreneurs have? It's like, oh, I need to make sure that this video is perfect. Well, it's honestly, it's not going to be perfect the first time around, and it might take some time. It might take 5 times or 10 times before the video is perfect. But you have to get through the first steps in order to get to that 5th step, to that 10th step. Because
people shouldn't get discouraged just because Gene and I's videos are just perfect every single time we do them.
But we've been doing this for a very long time. We've been doing this for a year and a half at this point.
Yeah, and they're still not perfect.
And they're absolutely not perfect, but it takes some time to, it took me some time to learn how to do video, how to get the right lighting, how to speak on camera. I mean, it wasn't like the first time around I was like, boom, done, I'm awesome at it. It definitely took some thought process, some learning about it, watching some videos about how to create videos. I did a lot of those in the beginning. So absolutely, the perfection idea, that everything has to be perfect, also has to be put to bed, because it will become eventually perfect if you work at it. As again, practice makes perfect. And then the other thing I was going to talk about was a morning routine, which I think is really important for having the mindset for the day. So some of the examples of a morning routine that successful people have, and I think there's a bunch of articles out there that talk about, what is the morning routine of Tony Robbins or whatever, is, waking up, possibly doing some stretching, doing some meditation, maybe writing a list of the things that you want to accomplish today. Because when you write things, it's so much more ingrained in your mind versus if you just think about them. So one of the things that I've learned is also, for example, if you have goals, yearly goals, quarterly goals, 10-year goals for your business, writing them down is much more effective in actually accomplishing those goals. So I think having those points in a morning routine, some stretching, some meditation, some centering yourself for the day, putting together a to-do list of what the things you want to accomplish. Any other ideas that you have for a good morning routine?
No, I think you really nailed them, and I think, again, out of all the things that we talked about on today's episode, this all has to do with really shaping your mindset and putting yourself in the right mindset. So I think that this was a very helpful episode. We'd love to hear what other people think, and I don't know, I look forward to talking more about it next time.
Absolutely, thanks, and of course we want to hear your thoughts. So if you have any morning routines you want to talk about, or any other mindset points about entrepreneurship, of course we'd love to hear them. So please put them in the comments. But otherwise, until next time, we look forward to serving you and helping you with your entrepreneurial journey.
See you guys.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you'll continue to get involved and join us as we help you find success in your entrepreneurial journey. Please follow, like, and share with others who will find this beneficial. We'll see you on the next episode of Marketing Success in Under 10 Minutes with Stephen and Jean.